And once again, I want to say greetings to each and every one of you. Aquaba and welcome. Welcome to another round of the Conscious Raster Report, our Thursday broadcast. We call this Tech and Future Talk here on LIB Radio, LIB TV, and on livinginblack.com. My name is Keedy Owado, aka the Conscious Raster. Weekday mornings, we're live from 9 a.m. Pacific Time. That's 12 noon Eastern Time, 5 p.m. GMT, and 8 p.m. East Africa Time. We get together with you, and we deal with culture, consciousness, historical perspectives. We deal with entertainment, economics, education, health, labor, law, politics, religion, family, conflict, future studies, tech studies. That is our Thursday focus. Today's date is Thursday, the 28th of November, 2024 in the Western calendar. This corresponds to the year 6265 in the Kemetic calendar, to which we have realigned our cultural clock. Welcome to the 7th millennium. You have found your family in a peaceful place on LIB Radio, LIB TV, and livingblack.com. It is the holiday known to as Thanksgiving Day. Some of us have changed the focus and expanded the focus, giving it more of a genuine core. We do acknowledge the first peoples on this day that inhabited the lands of the Western Hemisphere, that were invaded beginning in the latter part of the 15th century, invaded by European conquerors from Spain, Portugal, France, England, and Holland. We honor the indigenous nations that lived here and occupied this land, and actually assisted the invaders from starving to death, from whence the holiday known as Thanksgiving actually emerges at a certain particular point once the invaders have consolidated their hold, as well as we give this day gratitude status. Gratitude that I stand upon the shoulders of my parents, who stand upon the shoulders of their parents, our generation. Gratitude for those of our generation who go beyond what is required just to live and thrive and breathe, but work diligently to make it a better society, a better globe, better community, better nation, better planet for the future generations. We are grateful people, and the best work we do begins from that foundation of gratitude. Ubuntu. I am, because we are truly a grateful people. Let's go into today's theme, today's subject today. And I hope you see that this subject ties in very deeply to the idea of gratitude. And for all of you joining us today, let me just state right off the bat, I am so wonderfully grateful for you in my lives. I've been sending notes around the world today of gratitude, telling my friends, lifelong friends, my brothers from other mothers, how much I appreciate, love them. Gratitude, that's what it's all about. Here is the description of today's program. You tell me, does this fit the theme of gratitude? Could it be true that one solution fits all? That's the question. Could it be true? Today on LIB Radio, we want to explore the idea that the new frontier of medical therapy, stem cells, has such a broad spectrum of applications that it might fit the idea of, quote, one size fits all, unquote. I have identified 44 different diseases for which stem cell therapy is being explored or practiced. As well, I have defined a way of engaging this therapeutic pathway using non-interventionist, natural, and holistic strategies. Is this the miracle of the, quote, the fountain of youth? unquote. Is this the miracle of the fountain of youth? Now, I've been writing today on my upcoming book, getting it ready to go to the printer within the next 7 days. That book is entitled Living Superfood Solutions Using Dietary Practices That Prevent and Reverse Common Chronic Diseases, using dietary strategies that prevent and reverse common chronic diseases. But I'm also writing simultaneously on 2 other books. And this 3rd book actually just jumped on my lap. It jumped on my lap like a thirsty stripper. Excuse me, what a crazy metaphor. It jumped on my lap like a thirsty stripper, demanding to be completed. That book entitled The Stem Cell Revolution. I have finally come up with the title of it. The Stem Cell Revolution, a holistic approach to stem cell activation, proliferation, and differentiation for optimal and claim. And I aim to produce sufficient evidence that our bodies engage in this process called cell. That's our goal. And we are organizing a class that's going to begin 3 days from now. September, it's going to begin on Sunday, the 1st of December. 56-day protocol to activate the most engaging, exciting, healthy, productive stem cell environment within our bodies that we perhaps have ever engaged, especially deliberately engaged, because most of us are totally oblivious to this whole concept. Today, I want to share diseases. There's a long, long list of them that talked about which diseases, disorders, can stem cell therapy be useful for. So let me link to that part of the article, and I've got to remember where it is. But while I'm doing that, I pulled a short piece of video that talks about stem cells in this environment that we are deliberately creating. So let me, if you don't mind, I hope you don't mind, let me share with you just a little bit of this video. This comes from YouTube. The video is entitled Stem Cell Treatment, Miracle Cure, or Expensive Letdown. So here, let's go into this miracle cure of stem cells, and let's share what we have to share about this. This is only going to last just about 3 minutes. Hope you don't mind.
They are desperate and willing to pay thousands of dollars for relief. Patients are turning to clinics offering controversial stem cell treatments for all kinds of diseases and medical problems. CBS 2's Pam Zekman investigates.
I thought this was it, that I was going to be able to see.
Charisma Cardine of Bellwood has been blind for 13 years, the result of a rare central nervous system disease.
What was the sales pitch?
They told us that it was a 90 to 95% success rate.
They said they worked with one other patient besides her before, and they gained their sight back within 2 weeks.
But Cardine's $9,000 treatment at the Miami Stem Cell Treatment Center did not restore her sight. Not surprising to Harvard stem cell researcher David Skadden.
The likelihood that they're accomplishing this function, it would be a very surprising result.
They call this liquid gold.
But at the Chicago Stem Cell Treatment Center, part of the Cell Surgical Network, Dr. Daniel Rataka says the national network has had success in a research study treating patients for a variety of ailments.
We've done over 4,000 cases. I do not tell them this is therapy. I do not say cure.
This patient is having stem cells injected into her spine for multiple sclerosis and her knee for osteoarthritis.
We have to at least suppose that if we deliver it into the right area, that they're going to do the work.
Another MS patient Rataka treated believes the $7,000 treatment worked for him.
I'm walking better, I'm walking faster, I'm more balanced than I used to be.
Another chain of stem cell clinics called the Lung Institute says it can help people suffering from conditions like COPD and emphysema. Their website includes many testimonials. 79-year-old Robert Heller of Northbrook was told the treatment would help him.
That he would breathe better and might even go off oxygen entirely.
In a webinar that I participated in, Lung Institute officials said that about 71% of their patients had seen a 10 to 40% increase in their lung function. The website even says that the treatment can regenerate lung tissue.
If that were true, that would be spectacular. There's really no scientific basis for that kind of a claim.
Heller paid $6,500 for treatments, but says his condition only got worse.
I think they're giving you a lot of BS, okay, and wishful thinking and selling you on hopes, false hopes.
Pam Zeckman, CBS 2 Investigators.
A Lung Institute spokeswoman declined to comment, and Miami Stem Cell Treatment Center told Charisma in a letter that they had informed her that there were no guarantees for success. Dr. Skadden says stem cells have proven beneficial for blood cancers, including leukemia, some bone grafts, as well as treatments for burns and damaged corneas. Other uses are still being tested.
Between oat milk and almond milk, which should I drink?
Neither. This is a protein drink. You've got almond butter.
All right, and it went right into a commercial after that. Very interesting, very controversial. And that investigation was only on 2 different clinics offering the service in South Florida. I appreciate that report because it challenges you and I to think. And that's what good investigative journalism should do. Good investigative journalism should always inform us of new possibilities. New possibilities, especially when healthcare strategies are being discussed. Yet at the same time, a good investigative reporter should challenge the credibility of the claims being made. And I thought that that particular story did a good job of both of those. So here's what my investigative reporting shares. And in watching that report, it did add another disease disorder for which stem cell therapy is being offered, proposed, and or researched. So here's what I'm writing in the book, Stem Cell. Let's see, the book now has a title. The book is entitled, and some of you saw the promo for today's program, so let me just find that image, File Explorer, and I'm going to share that image with you. Let me stop that screen, share where we at. Here we're over here. Go into, I'm going to show you because I just came up with the book cover. I worked on that for the last 2 days. The book is entitled The Stem Cell Revolution. And here, if you don't mind, is what the book cover to the Stem Cell Revolution looks like. Bear with me, almost there, everybody, be patient. Present, share the screen, and the screen I'm going to share is this. And if you would, I ask you, I beg you, give me a few words of feedback. Your first initial reaction to the book cover, your visceral reaction. You tell me, does this look like something that would catch your attention? Add to the stage. This is what the book cover looks like. The Stem Cell Revolution. A holistic approach to stem cell activation, proliferation, and differentiation for optimal health and longevity, by your brother, Kidi Owadu. So here is briefly what the book has to say, and I'm going to just share with you. Well, actually, let me do this. Let me share with you. That's the front cover of the book. Let me share with you the back cover of the book in part, not the whole thing. There is an exciting frontier evolving within holistic natural medicine. We can now create the ideal internal environment that facilitates stem cell creation, proliferation, and differentiation. All keys to controlling our relationship to vitality and aging processes. And then they have a longer introduction to it. And I'm not going to go through that introduction right now. But just understand, this is a natural process. And we've talked about this subject numerous times in recent weeks, especially as now I'm focused on completing this book. And we've talked about comparing our natural, holistic, nutrition-based strategies for activating stem cells. And all of the research, all of the literature that I'm scanning, although much of it deals with specific therapeutic pathways being pursued by allopathic medicine, conventional medicine, for-profit medicine, there's none of them that have ever said that stem cells do not proliferate naturally within the proper internal environment. None of them. They will talk about how the corrupted internal environment, such as heavy metal toxicity, is very damaging and injurious to the process of stem cells. And we take that wholeheartedly into account. We take that very seriously. So recognize, everybody, we talked about the cost of these stem cell therapies. Those clinics that you saw in that brief news report were engaging in these therapies and were charging these type of prices. When someone is taking stem cells out of your body, putting them into a test tube or a laboratory in vitro situation, altering them either with, on the low end, enzymes, but on the high end, altering them through such processes as CRISPR, gene editing, and then putting them back into you, the cost of that can range between average of $5,000 to $10,000 on the low end to $50,000 to $125,000 in the mid range to as much as $2.1 million for a single therapeutic session. And where I'm saying is you can do this with lifestyle management. It sounds too good to be true. Going to and reading from my book, and I can stop the screen here. Here's what I have to say. The chapter is entitled, When Can Stem Cell Rejuvenation Therapy Be Helpful? The list of diseases for which stem cell therapy is proposed includes, I'm going to read through the list and we're going to go through them in detail. Acute respiratory disease syndrome. 2, Alzheimer's disease. 3, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS. 4, autoimmune diseases. 5, azoospermia. Now, I'll explain these in detail. 6, cancers. 7, cardiovascular diseases. 8, chronic ischemic cardiomyopathy. 9, diabetes. 10, emphysema. 11, endometriosis. 12, eye diseases. 13, heart failure. 14, hematological disorders. 15, Huntington's disease. 16, ischemic heart disease. 17, liver diseases. 18, male infertility. 19, motor neuron diseases. 20, multiple myeloma. 21, multiple sclerosis. 22, musculoskeletal disorders. 23, neuroblastoma. 24, neurodegenerative diseases. Number 25, organ regeneration. 26, Parkinson's diseases or Parkinson's disease. 27, polycystic ovarian syndrome. Number 28, premature ovarian insufficiency. Number 29, to reverse signs of aging. Number 30, sickle cell disease. 31, spinal cord injury. 32, traumatic brain injury. 33, vitiligo. And 34, wound healing. Now, this list will undeniably expand. It's essential to note that while this research shows promise, stem cell therapy is still a newly emerging field, and more research is needed to fully comprehend its safety and efficacy. It's very important that you understand that. This is a newly emerging field, and much more research is needed to fully comprehend its safety and efficacy. Additionally, the specific stem cell type, source, and therapeutic method used all impact treatment outcomes. Please, if you're considering this, please consult healthcare professionals for the best strategies tailored to the following specific medical conditions. Now, what I am saying is not necessarily, but generally, and I will make these links as much as possible, we can consider that the overall holistic environment inside of our bodies will allow us to naturally avoid, prevent, or naturally turn on the body's self-regenerating processes. Just the same way, if I fall down and skin or scrape my knee or get a puncture wound through my skin, if I create the right environment internally, keep the wound clean, keep the surface covered and clean, as well as feed the hematologic environment, my blood environment, feed it the critical nutrients that are required for rebuilding tissue, then that wound will completely heal up. It may leave some remnant of a scar, or it may not. This is the miracle of stem cells. I see you in the house for Africa One, joining us from the UK. Hotep, Brother Keaty, Global LIB family. Late to the show, we'll catch up later. You are not late. You are perfectly on time, beloved. Always, always. In fact, I was late to the show, starting 15 minutes later than what I had always intend to start, because quite simply, my morning has been that busy. It's been a busy morning, and I like a busy morning. Let's go through this list. These are in alphabetical order, and I'm still adding to the list. After watching the news report that I showed, I did add emphysema to this list. And now I'll have to go look up, and this is how quickly I can do this. Pull up my Brave browser, and I'm going to ask this prompt of an AI search, share a 40-word report on the research linking stem cell therapy and emphysema, E-M-P-H-Y-S-E-M-A, emphysema. I think I spelled that correct. And I put that inquiry into one of 4 different AI search engines I use for this level of research. So here's what it shares. I'm asking for just a 40-word report. I'm going to copy, cut, and paste this into the document that I'm working on, where I just, during that news broadcast, added emphysema into the list of diseases, disorders. So I'm going to go through A, B, C, D, E. There's emphysema right between diabetes and endometriosis. And here's what they had to say. I'm going to copy, cut, and paste that. Don't do that, but do this. Copy, cut, and paste that. And here's what they had to say. Studies suggest that stem cell therapy, particularly mesenchymal stem cells, MSCs, may reduce emphysema progression by promoting lung tissue repair, attenuating inflammation, and improving lung function. Early findings show promise, but larger controlled trials are needed to confirm efficacy and safety. And of course, that last tag statement, you're going to find that on virtually everything. And that essentially means it's still in the therapeutic research environment. So let's go through this list. We have 33 now on this list. Number 1 on the list, acute respiratory distress syndrome. And that kind of goes hand in hand with the description of emphysema. Acute respiratory distress syndrome, ARDS. Stem cell therapy using umbilical cord derived mesenchymal stem cells, and mesenchymal stem cells can be derived also from bone marrow and fat tissue, has been explored as a potential treatment for acute respiratory distress syndrome, which acute respiratory distress syndrome literally could be described as a nasty cold, a nasty case of the flu. That's how the medical industry does what it does. They create these exotic sounding names. Acute means short or quick onset, short duration. Respiratory means related to your lungs, lung functioning. Distress means it's not working real well. It's stressing you out. Syndrome means a collective of symptoms. So literally people, ARDS, acute respiratory distress syndrome, could be a nasty cold that's embedded in the lungs, or could be the flu or pneumonia embedded in the lungs, for which they can propose stem cell therapy and charge you thousands or tens of thousands of dollars for that therapy. And just recall, and I know I'm showing you number 1, just to recall that acute syndrome itself could clear up in a matter of days or weeks. They have this thing that's called prolonged COVID. For most people with that diagnosis, it clears itself up in a matter of days or weeks. But this prolonged situation, is it acute or is it chronic? I'm not going to go deep into that topic right now today, but we are here today to talk about the research in stem cell therapy. Stem cell therapy using mesenchymal stem cells. They said using umbilical cord derived. So that, another part of the book, I talk about what happens to the umbilical cord and the placenta after your baby was born. Your baby is born. Does the medical industry take those substances and go around the corner and say, hey, take these substances to the research laboratory? We don't have to tell the family where we got them from. It reminds us of Henrietta Lacks. Been there, done that. Number 2 on this list, I'm going to speed it up. Alzheimer's disease. Stem cells can differentiate into brain cells, replacing damaged ones, and secrete anti-inflammatory molecules, reducing inflammation and oxidative stress, potentially slowing disease progression and improving cognitive function. Stem cells are being explored as a potential treatment for Alzheimer's by promoting neural regeneration, reducing amyloid plaques, and modulating inflammation. Various types of stem cells, including mesenchymal stem cells, neural stem cells, and iPSCs are being investigated. I would have to look up what iPSCs are. It probably will show up in other parts of the document, which is why I didn't break out an explanation right then and there. Number 3 on our list, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a progressive neurodegenerative disease that affects nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord. Stem cell therapy is an area of active research in the context of ALS. The potential of stem cells to repair or regenerate damaged tissues has led scientists to explore their use as a treatment for ALS. And by the time I finish reading these explanations, you're going to see this matrix shaping up that should give you a clear picture of this miracle, the fountain of youth that we're describing of today. Number 4 on this list of 34, autoimmune diseases. Which autoimmune diseases, we're talking about as many as 70 different diagnoses. Some studies are investigating the use of stem cells in diseases like lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, and even vitiligo, which is an autoimmune disorder, by resetting the immune system. Number 5, azoospermia. Stem cell therapy has been explored for the treatment of azoospermia, a condition characterized by the absence of sperm in the ejaculate. And when we talk about the rise of infertility across society for too many years, for decades, this infertility is traditionally being blamed on women. That's no longer true, probably hasn't been true since the early 1960s, with the release of the book by Rachel Carson called Silent Spring, in which she documented how the impact of endocrine disrupting chemicals had broken the chain of reproduction replication across many species, and this beginning really probably from the 1950s onward. Rachel Carson's book Silent Spring is a critical study. I have my copy of it. It's right here in arm's reach. Rachel Carson's book Silent Spring is right here, and I have it in my hand. The classic that launched the environmental movement, Silent Spring by Rachel Carson. So I don't know whether you can see that. Let me see if I can see it. You can see it. There it is, Silent Spring. Recommended, highly recommended for those of us who do biological research. That book and another book that followed it by about 30 years called Our Stolen Future by by Theo Colburn, becomes another very, very important book along that line. Number 6 on our list of 34, blood disorders. Conditions like leukemia and lymphoma can be treated with stem cell transplants. Stem cell therapy offers hope for blood disorders like leukemia and lymphoma by enabling the replacement of damaged bone marrow, increasing production of normal red and white blood cells and platelets, enhancing immune function, and facilitating targeted treatments, leading to improved survival rates and quality of life. Now, we can appreciate all of that, but let's be clear. My book is about activating these processes, these fixing, healing processes, regenerative processes through lifestyle modification, nutrition, supplementation, things like the 7 principles of optimal health, reducing stress. Going forward, we're up to number 7, cancers. Stem cell therapy provides valuable support for certain solid tumor cancers by countering the destruction caused by high-dose radiation and chemotherapy, restoring healthy bone marrow, and enhancing immune response, potentially improving treatment outcomes. It offers a promising avenue for patients with limited options and advanced disease stages. Cancers, people. Now, here's the thing. These therapies are extremely expensive. I do know stem cell-based cancer therapy is extremely expensive. It's going to run from $50,000 to $500,000 or more. I know that. Here's the thing. As you and I understand what it is that I am talking about, what it is this book is promoting, and what it is this 56-day protocol that we're about to launch on December 1st is all about, the same strategies that would be used to treat stem cells through stem cell activation, proliferation, differentiation, would be used to prevent cancer in the first place. The best treatment for cancer is to never get cancer. And we're living in a society today in America where more than 2 of every 5 people are expected to be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. I see you in the house, Brother Ed. Ashe, great day to all. Great day to you, dear brother. Thank you. Thank you, Africa One family, for logging in, for greeting each other and greeting myself. I am because we are Ubuntu. I am because we truly are. We're talking today about, could it be true that one solution fits all? Let's keep going. We're up to number 8 on our list, cardiovascular diseases. And these are multiple. And you're going to see them listed, multiple cardiovascular diseases listed in this list. These are in alphabetical order. Stem cell therapy may aid in repairing heart tissue after a heart attack or in treating heart failure. Number 9 is one of these cardiovascular diseases, chronic ischemic cardiomyopathy. Stem cell therapy using bone marrow derived stem cells or adipose tissue derived stem cells has been investigated for the treatment of chronic ischemic cardiomyopathy, with some studies showing improved cardiac function and reduced symptoms. We're talking about chronic meaning slow to progress, long lasting. Ischemic means blood flow, heart blood oxygenation flow. Cardio, meaning of the heart. Myopathy, meaning muscle function. So this is chronic ischemic cardiomyopathy. Number 10, chronic lung conditions. And we added another one to this list today, emphysema. Number 10, chronic lung conditions. Research suggests that stem cells can repair lung tissue, regenerate damaged cells, and modulate inflammation, potentially improving lung function and quality of life for patients with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, and other chronic lung conditions such as emphysema. We are still in the C's, number 11, congenital disorders. Now, this is where the stem cell therapy gets very, very expensive. The most expensive therapy of them all is related to a congenital disorders. Certain genetic diseases of birth or birth defects may be treated with stem cell therapy to correct or replace defective cells using allogenic stem cells, which are obtained from a compatible donor. There is autogenic, meaning the stem cells come out of my own body, or there is allogenic, meaning the stem cells come from a donor. Number 12, diabetes. Research is ongoing into the use of stem cells to regenerate insulin-producing beta cells in the pancreas, which are located in the islets of Langerhans. These beta cells play a crucial role in regulating blood glucose levels by releasing insulin in response to elevated blood sugar. Now, we have for several years, since at least 2010, talked about Dr. Gabriel Cousens and his research that went into his book, There Is a Cure for Diabetes, the 21-day Tree of Life protocol. And I have myself engaged clinical nutrition strategies for people with hyperglycemia or diabetes, with wonderful success for people who will actually follow the protocol. I can give them the protocol. If they don't follow it, they're in the same situation months later. But if they do follow the protocol as strictly as possible, as one of my dear brothers, Brother Kuranja in Nairobi, has done, it reverses the diabetes in short order. He reversed his diagnosis. He reversed his hypertension diagnosis. He has, and I haven't talked to him recently about his ongoing weight loss, but he has taken off, I think it was in 2 months, total of 32 pounds. It was about around 15 kilos, slightly under 15 kilos. So what we're talking about here, and in this 56-day protocol, I'm going to show you a strategy. I'm going to show you a strategy. I'm going to prove it works. That you can engage in one strategy that lasts 3 to 5 days that will turn off the diabetes mechanism. Now, it won't permanently reverse it, not in 5 days. You have to stay in this protocol for 30 days to get the reversal. But in 5 days, your pancreatic beta cells will normalize insulin production, and your body now will start to normalize insulin response throughout the body. I'm talking about 3 to 5 days, people. This one is a shortcut. It's a fast track, and it's not for everyone. Some people say, I can't do that. And I'm going to say, well, do this then and get yourself strong enough to be able to do that. Get yourself, if I say to someone, a 3-day water fast will fix at least 10 benefits in 3 days of consuming only water, while at the same time remaining active to push your body's natural healing and cell replacement processes. Some people say, I can't do that. I won't do that. I can't do that. I say, well, I've done 10 days. I've done 3-day water fasts at least twice a year. You tell me you can't do it. I don't accept that you're that weaker than me, that your body in a natural situation wouldn't do that successfully. You just haven't seen the champion inside yourself yet. If I do what I do the right way, I promise you, I will show you the champion inside of you that has been begging to be released to the world. Put me in the game, coach. We need a win here. That's what I'm talking about. We continue. And if anybody's out there, if you're listening and you want to talk to me, you want to say greetings or whatever, we welcome your commentary here on LIB Radio, LIB TV, and livinginblack.com. We are today talking about, could this be true? There was one solution that fits all. I see you in the house. Elisa is on our You Now family. Aquava, welcome. Alter Ego, I see you in the house. Little Joe said so. You've been pretty consistent. Don't you know how much we appreciate, love you? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Continuing, we are up to number 13, and I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit. As you can tell, I get excited. And as you can tell, this is from a book, already the book, and I've really just started the book in about, well, I've done the research for some time, but just starting to shape up the book about a week ago. I did yesterday. Now I produced the cover. Some of you have seen the cover of the book. No one said a word about it, so I guess you either were impressed or were not impressed. It took your words away, took your breath away, or you just said, hey, Katie, I know you wanted me to comment on the book cover, but no. And I'm not going to use no F-bombs neither. They just said, no, I ain't going to. You want me to do it? No, I'm not. All right. Well, the book is now up to 82 pages, and I know this is going to be a big book. We continue. Number 13, emphysema. That was the one I just added this morning. Studies suggest that stem cell therapy, particularly mesenchymal stem cells, MSCs, may reduce emphysema progression by promoting lung tissue repair, attenuating inflammation, and improving lung function. It can do it, and it can do it remarkably fast. Emphysema is a very serious chronic disease progression. Very serious, very dangerous. A lot of people die from chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, of which emphysema is one of the primary. But here's the thing, you can begin to get relief within the first, I would say, reasonably within the first 2 to 4 weeks. Now, our protocol is going to last a total of 8 weeks, 56 days. So if you know someone suffering from emphysema and they want a rapid pathway of maybe completely reversing the damage and replacing those damaged cells within 8 weeks, this might be a good time for them to invest the small amount that I'm going to be charging for this course. Number 14 for the ladies, endometriosis. How many hysterectomies have been performed on women of this generation because of endometriosis? How many hysterectomies? How much is a hysterectomy worth? How much is saving a womb worth? How much is saving women's most vital God-given parts worth? Come on, people. Show some backbone. Endometriosis stem cell therapy has been shown to improve endometrial function and reduce inflammation in women with endometriosis. It has been shown. That means it's been therapeutically used to reduce inflammation and improve endometrial function, maybe saving the woman's womb from hysterectomy. Let me just make a note. This could possibly save hundreds of thousands of women to avoid unnecessary hysterectomy. And I'm serious about that. I will need to put up a reference, a footnote to that. Number 15, eye diseases. Conditions such as macular degeneration and retinal diseases are being explored for treatment with stem cells. Number 16, heart failure. Stem cell therapy using bone marrow derived stem cells, BMSCs, or induced pluripotent stem cells, iPSCs. That was that word I was looking for earlier. Induced pluripotent stem cells have been investigated for the treatment of heart failure, with some studies showing improved cardiac function and reduced scar tissue. And we're talking about induced pluripotent. That's where they take adult stem cells, alter them in vitro to where the adult stem cells now revert to a more primary stage called pluripotent stem cells, meaning the adult stem cells that have differentiated go back to an undifferentiated state and now can be distributed wherever the body needs them. Those are called induced pluripotent stem cells. Number 17, hematological disorders, meaning the logic of the blood. Conditions like leukemia, lymphoma, and other blood disorders can be treated with stem cell transplants. Number 18, Huntington's disease. Stem cell therapy using pluripotent stem cells has been investigated for the treatment of Huntington's disease, with some studies showing improved motor function and reduced symptoms. Number 19, ischemic heart disease. We talked about this earlier. Stem cell therapy using bone marrow derived stem cells or adipose tissue derived stem cells has been explored for the treatment of ischemic heart disease, with some studies demonstrating improved cardiac function and reduced infarct size. Number 20, liver diseases. Stem cells may have the potential to regenerate liver tissues in conditions like cirrhosis after cancer surgery or acute liver failure. And I can say that this has been widely documented. This has been widely reported by liver cancer surgeons. And I do refer to that research in another part of the book. Continuing, number 21, male fertility, which reminds us of the term we used a little bit earlier. What was it? It's under the A's. That would be azoospermia. So again, we are up to number 21, male infertility. Stem cell research explores potential treatments for male infertility disorders by regenerating sperm-producing cells, the Sertoli cells, addressing issues like low sperm count or quality, and offering hope for improved reproductive outcomes. For sperm-producing Sertoli, S-E-R, I think it's capital S-E-R-T-O-L-I cells. Number 22, motor neuron disease. This is very important. Stem cell therapy using pluripotent stem cells has been explored as a potential treatment for motor neuron disease, with some studies demonstrating improved motor function and reduced symptoms. One of those motor neuron diseases would be amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. I've had to pull that ALS off the top of my head. I'm getting better at this language, and I even, for this book, produced a glossary of terminology used across this field of this cutting-edge field of stem cell research. So yeah, the book does include an extensive glossary. Number 23, multiple myeloma. Multiple myeloma is a type of cancer which originates in plasma cells, a type of white blood cell responsible for producing antibodies. This cancer typically occurs in the bone marrow, where the plasma cells become malignant and proliferate, leading to bone damage, kidney issues, and immune system dysfunction. Stem cell therapy is an option for multiple myeloma, particularly in cases where the disease is more aggressive or has relapsed after initial treatments. The most common stem cell therapy used for multiple myeloma is an autologous stem cell transplantation. What is an autologous stem cell transplantation? Where they take stem cells out of your body and put them back into your body. Autologous. That's what autologous means. The source is from your own body. The most common stem cell therapy used for multiple myeloma is autologous stem cell transplantation, where stem cells are collected from the patient's own blood or bone marrow before they've undergone high-dose chemotherapy. After the chemotherapy, which aims to eliminate the cancer cells, now the cells have not gone through the high-dose chemotherapy. Let me clear that up. Where the patients, before these patients have undergone high-dose chemotherapy. So they get the stem cells out of your blood, out of your bone marrow, take them out of your body, preserve them in vitro, and then they assault your body with radiation and high-dose chemotherapy, which kills off your bone marrow. If you do that to a perfectly healthy person, a perfectly healthy person will die. So do that to them, and then they put the stem cells back in with the hope that the high-dose radiation and chemotherapy don't kill all of that off as well. Whew. Let me reread that last sentence since I did change it. Where stem cells are collected from the patient's own blood or bone marrow before these patients have undergone high-dose chemotherapy, after the chemotherapy, which aims to eliminate the cancer cells. The harvested stem cells are then infused back into the patient to help restore the bone marrow and blood cell production. Wow, that was a very lengthy explanation for stem cell therapy into multiple myeloma. Number 24, multiple sclerosis. Again, these are in alphabetical order. MS. Stem cell therapy for MS is being developed through a range of approaches, including hematopoietic stem cell transplantation. Hematopoietic stem cell transplantation, HSCT. Mesenchymal stem cell therapy, MSCT. Neural stem cells, and other clinical trials to assess the safety and efficacy of the stem cell therapies. Number 25, musculoskeletal disorders. Conditions like osteoarthritis, degenerative disc disease, and spinal cord injuries may benefit from stem cell treatments aimed at regenerating cartilage, rebuilding joints, and other tissues, including neurological tissues. And number 26 on our list, neuroblastoma. Neuroblastoma is a type of cancer that affects the adrenal glands located on top of the kidneys, but it can also occur in nerve tissue along the spine, chest, abdomen, or pelvis. It primarily affects children, particularly those under the age of 5, and arises from neuroblasts, which are immature nerve cells. Stem cell therapy has been explored as a treatment option for neuroblastoma, particularly in cases where the cancer has relapsed or is resistant to conventional treatment such as chemotherapy and radiation, and can be used to help restore bone marrow function after high-dose chemotherapy. Number 27, and let me again just acknowledge those of you in the audience. We appreciate, love you being here, and I also really appreciate you when you talk to me, when you share your insights, your thoughts with your brother. Let me just take a second here and see if there's anybody else who wants to get their greetings in. Could it be true that one solution fits all? I do have a good sized audience that's growing. For Africa One, Ed Mack checked in. For Africa One Rights, I presume the condition that created the need for allopathic stem cell therapy is likely to return if the lifestyle and previous eating habits don't change. You are 100% correct. We may get temporary relief by implementing these practices, but if the person goes back to the same pathological behaviors that created the imbalanced disorders that then turned into the diseases with their attendant symptoms, you are 100% correct. This is lifestyle change. This is the paradigm shift. The beautiful thing about this particular paradigm shift is that it will last you for the rest of your extended lifespan. If my hypothesis for this 56-day protocol is correct, and if people can not only successfully engage the 56 days, but now retain those new habits for life, they should naturally expect a minimum of a 30-year gain over average life expectancy. I'm going in this with the intention of being the teacher of it, so therefore the absolute master of my own therapeutic teachings. I am expecting to gain not the 69-year lifespan that my beloved father experienced. I expect to gain from 69, 70 years, a year in the womb is a year on earth, from 70 to gain 56 years above my father's life expectancy. 56 years. To live to be 126 years of age. That's my goal. Very solid goal. And I tell you, with a goal like that, I have to be as strict as my knowledge, wisdom, information, and logic can determine. That's what we're about. Great comment, Ed Mack. 2 for Africa 1. He says, check. And respect for Africa 1. Respect, Brother Ed. And respect to both of you for engaging. Thank you for your mutual respect and your ongoing support. Much respect to you both. I am, because we are. We continue. We are up to, what number are we on? I'm reading from the book. We're up to number 27, neurodegenerative disease. Research is ongoing into the use of stem cells for neurological disorders such as Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, multiple sclerosis, ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, Huntington's, and various others. So this kind of fits into the category of autoimmune disorders, but they're also neurodegenerative disorders. These are also disorders involving the degradation of the myelin sheath. And in this book, I talk about all of those. All of those as prime areas for this bold new field of medical research called stem cell therapy. Number 28, organ regeneration. There is potential for stem cells to aid in the regeneration of organs like the liver and kidneys, as well as the skin. As the largest organ of the body, our skin. That is the integumentary system. That is what the skin is called technically integumentary system. Not inter, but inter. Number 29, Parkinson's disease. Stem cell therapy using pluripotent stem cells has been explored as a potential treatment for Parkinson's disease, with some studies demonstrating improved motor function and reduced symptoms. Number 30, polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS. Stem cell therapy has been shown to improve ovarian function and fertility in women with polycystic ovarian syndrome. Number 31, premature ovarian insufficiency. Stem cell therapy using bone marrow-derived mesenchymal stem cells, BMSCs, has been shown to improve ovarian function and fertility in patients with premature ovarian insufficiency. Now, in the aftermath of the and the mass vaccination campaign, I have had conversations with 2 women, and I think one was with a friend of a woman, another one was with a woman, who were experiencing premature ovarian insufficiency, effectively becoming infertile in their late 30s. Now that this new area of research is available, I need to reach out to them and see if they would like to put their health into this 56-day protocol, which is a nutrition-based protocol, to see if they get the outcomes that my hypothesis would suggest that they would experience. Again, overcoming using naturally produced, holistically produced stem cells mesenchymal stem cells become a primary focus. Now, this word mesenchymal, let's see, this I'm on page 23 of the book right now. I'm going to go back to my glossary because you're hearing this word mesenchymal quite a bit throughout this whole thing. And let me go to the glossary of the book. Glossary. And in the glossary, mesenchymal is under M. It's also in alphabetical order. Mesenchymal refers to multipotent stem cells that differentiate as progenitor cells for all types of connective tissues, such as fibroblasts, osteoblasts, chondroblasts, and pre-adipocytes. These cells are characterized by their ability to self-renew and exhibit multi-lineage differentiation, producing an extracellular matrix, ECM, rich in hyaluronic acid. In adults, mesenchymal cells are present in small quantities as part of loose connective tissue, primarily in the umbilical cord, bone marrow, and adipose tissue. So that's a description of mesenchymal, multipotent stem cells. So that becomes all so very important. So I'm going to go back to where I was, and we were looking at premature ovarian insufficiency. And the next one on that list, number 32, reverse signs of aging. An autologous approach, meaning using stem cells from your own body, autologous, involves using a person's own stem cells to address various age-related conditions and possibly reverse some signs of aging. I'm going to prove that. I'm going to prove it. I think, was it today's promo or in the last day or so? I showed a picture of myself that was taken 2-3 months ago, not that long ago at all. And I look at that picture and I say, brother, on that day you were looking spectacular. But we're going to go in at a deeper level now. I did show at the beginning of this launch of this program, I did show the before and after when I did this 56-day protocol in March 2021. And the before and after photographs were pretty stark contrast. But the before photograph was of poor quality. This time, I'm going in very seriously to get very precise photographs taken in the same pose, wearing the same clothes, 56 days apart. I can wear the clothes twice. And I'm going to show you the same lighting conditions. I'm going to show you before this at the beginning of 56 days and after 56 days. Here is the end photograph. Now, I will admit that, for my age 69, people already say, damn, brother, you look young. Yeah, I claim that with pride. Thank you for the compliment. But in this particular case, I think it will be even more dramatic. That after 56 days, young-looking me will look like my son. Because in 56 days, listen, my body, your body, let me pull up my calculator, because this is a miracle that's going on in the background that really is sustaining all of this, so much of this. Every minute, my body, your body, creates 300 million new cells. That's every minute times 60 minutes an hour, not divided by, times 60 minutes an hour, times, let me do this all over again. Clear and start again. 300 new cells a minute, 300 times 60. That's 18 billion new cells per hour. That's 300 million times 60, 18 billion new cells per hour. Times 24 hours a day comes to a total of 432 million million, which is now we're talking about, oh, let me multiply this by 1 million. So we're talking about 432 trillion new cells every 24 hours. 432 trillion. So we're going to take that times 56. Comes to a total of, wow, there's a lot of zeros. 24 quadrillion, 192 trillion new cells our body will naturally produce during this 56 days. This 56 days will be pristine blood environment, full spectrum hypernutrition, detoxification of heavy metals, detoxification of endocrine disrupting chemicals, detoxification of carcinogens, will be raw, vegan, enzyme rich food, no contaminants from animal proteins or animal other products. We will diminish and or reduce or exclude the impact of digestive leukocytosis, of inflammation, internal inflammatory processes, reverse oxygen species. We're going to be doing all of that while enjoying wonderful, healthy food for 56 days. When your body during that 56 days will produce 24 quadrillion, 192 trillion new cells over the course of 56 days. Of course, it will be replacing old cells. Is this the fountain of youth? Yeah, looks like it is. This is the fountain of youth. Your body will be brand new. Wow. Pretty amazing. We're up to number 33, sickle cell. Among several approaches for treating sickle cell disease with stem cells include 1. Allogenic stem cell transplantation, meaning they come from someone else, a donor, wherein healthy stem cells from a tissue-matched full sibling donor are transplanted into a patient with sickle cell disease, replacing the defective stem cells. And 2. Adult blood-forming stem cells are genetically edited by adding a hemoglobin gene that blocks sickling of red blood cells. This approach is a clinical trial with the potential to provide a more effective and safe treatment for sickle cell disease. Now, I have heard about this. We've reported on this, and this reported sickle cell disease cost is at least $127 million. No, $127,000. Excuse me, my apology. $127,000 is beyond the reach of many, if not all, families with children or adults suffering from sickle cell disease. But Dr. Sebi, using natural therapies, nutrition, raw vegan diet, and herbs, Dr. Sebi successfully helps people reverse their sickle cell condition in 30 days. I saw it firsthand. I knew someone who went to Dr. Sebi. I talked to her before, and I talked to her during, and I talked to her after, and she got complete success with her sickle cell disease. And Dr. Sebi did not charge that woman more than just a few $1,000s. I don't know what he charged her. I didn't ask. But I can assure you he did not charge her $127,000. So what I'm talking about is real. It's practical. It's already existent, people. You can choose to believe it or you can choose to ignore it, but doggone it, we need to know. We need to know this. We're up to number 34 of the list is going on to 38. Number 34 of these diseases for which stem cell therapy is practiced and or proposed therapeutically. Number 34, spinal cord injury. Stem cell therapy using bone marrow derived mesenchymal stem cells or adipose tissue-derived mesenchymal stem cells, ATMSCs, has been explored as a potential treatment for spinal cord injury, with promising results in improving motor and sensory function. Number 35, traumatic brain injury. Stem cell therapy using BMMSCs or ATMSCs has been investigated for the treatment of traumatic brain injury, with some studies showing improved cognitive function and reduced inflammation. Number 36, stem cell ACL therapy for torn ACL. A torn anterior cruciate ligament, ACL, is a common injury affecting athletes and non-athletes alike. Traditional treatment options include surgery, physical therapy, and rehabilitation. However, stem cell therapy has emerged as a potential alternative or adjunct to surgery, offering a minimally invasive and regenerative approach to repair and heal the damaged ligament. Number 37. These are in alphabetical order. Vitiligo. The development of stem cell therapies for vitiligo focuses on the ability of stem cells to regenerate melanocytes, the cells responsible for producing melanin, which gives skin its color. This strategy involves 3 types of stem cells: mesenchymal stem cells, autogenous and induced reprogrammed pluripotent stem cells, iPSCs, induced pluripotent stem cells. Vitiligo. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And number 38 of 38 on this list, wound healing. Stem cell therapy is proving effective for skin rejuvenation and the treatment of conditions like burns and chronic wounds. There we went through this entire list. 38 different diseases and disorders for which stem cell therapy is currently engaged, getting results, or in various stages of research and development. This is not hypotheses. This is clinical. It is essential to note that while many of these studies show promise because stem cell therapy is still an emerging field, more research is needed for these and other disorders. Before consultation with a stem cell therapy specialist, continue to study more about its application for your specific diagnosis. Let me repeat that paragraph because I did a couple of changes. It is essential to note that while many of these studies show promise, because stem cell therapy is still an emerging field, more research is needed for these and other disorders. Before consultation with a stem cell therapy specialist, continue to study more about this application for your specific diagnosis. And that brings us back to the question, could it be true that this is the one size fits all? Could it be true that this is the fountain of youth that we've all been, so many of us have been searching for, looking for, begging for, pleading to be able to celebrate our life with? Today is Thanksgiving Day. We are grateful people. We are a people that have much to be grateful for. And I am very grateful that you trust me, you trust your brother to be able to come up with the type of research that I have been sharing today. See, 1 second. So I just had to close that paragraph out. I added this sentence: is this the miracle of the fountain of youth that we have long been searching for? That closes out that paragraph, that chapter. The book I've been reading from now has a title. I showed you the cover earlier: The Stem Cell Revolution, a holistic approach to stem cell activation, proliferation, and differentiation for optimal health and longevity. Holistic approach, natural, nature-based approach. We are 3 days away from beginning this, and I'm going to ask those of you out there listening today to consider joining us. Consider investing in this, and even if you don't have a diagnosis, an illness for which one of these treatments would be proposed, join it and help me to confirm that this hypothesis of mine is embracing of this idea of a fountain of youth. I have been living it. I have been enjoying it for many years. And every day I verify that it does work. And it's all about nature. The 7 principles of optimal health. I do see a comment from Brother Ed in the house. How does your treatment help with those that have had knee and hip replacements? And I'm not going to call what I'm doing a treatment. It is a nutritional pathway. If I call it a treatment, I start to buck up shoulders against the allopathic medical healthcare institutions. And as you know, Brother Ed, they are ruthless. They don't want people out here doing what I do, which is talking about using food and exercise and breath management and hydration and these other lifestyle practices. They don't want us talking about, I am offering this treatment. I am not going to use that language. I am offering a nutrition-based natural pathway. So to clear that up. So how does a treatment / clinical nutrition pathway help those that have had knee and hip replacements? It would help them from further degeneration that would cause more of these cartilage and joint related stressors to have to lead to surgery. But if somebody has already had this surgery, had parts of that taken out and replaced by metals and things like that, it will assist the healing process. It will reduce inflammation, which is probably the main cause of the arthritis, osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis that was so problematic in the first place. It will reduce that inflammation. It will reverse the ROS process, reverse the reactive oxygen species process. It will reduce oxidation. It will replace critical cells that lubricate the joints, that form cartilage and tendon tissue. And the main thing is it will prevent the acute disease processes from moving to chronic or staying in chronic. So that's what, 5? Was that 6 I listed? I didn't write them down. But yeah, this is very deliberate. Now, during the course of the book that I was writing, let me just go to the book. I'm going to go to a portion of the book And I'm going to look to inflammatory. I'm searching through the book, inflammatory, inflammatory processes. Boom. And it's going to give us some very specifics. It went right to the chapter I was just reading. What can stem cell proliferation therapy help? Where can it be helpful? And let me just say, reduce inflammation. Let me try this. Reduce inflammation. So, under diabetic retinopathy, let's go just directly to arthritis. Arthritis, arthritis, and there's two types of arthritis. There is a rheumatoid arthritis. There's osteoarthritis. So when we're looking at autoimmune diseases, here's what it says. Very specific answer to your question. Great question. Autoimmune diseases. Some studies are investigating the use of stem cells in diseases like lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, and even vitiligo, which is an autoimmune disorder by resetting the immune system. Let's look at some of the other references to arthritis. Osteoarthritis, where you is. Musculoskeletal disorders. Conditions like osteoarthritis, degenerative disc disease, and spinal cord injuries may benefit from stem cell treatments aimed at regenerating cartilage, rebuilding joints, and other tissues. Now, I like that last part of that sentence. Brother Ed, yours was a great question because it challenged me. And, questions that challenge me, we got to welcome them. We have to welcome them. So I'm going to show you the process I do. We're going to use my 4 search engines. Maybe I'll use 2 of them, maybe 4. Let's see how satisfying it gets. And I'm going to put in your question, how can stem cell therapy help? How can stem cell therapy help regenerating cartilage, rebuilding joints, and other tissues? So that's the question. That's a great question. I think this satisfies your particular question. I pushed it up in my Brave search engine. I'm going to push it up in my Copilot chat. And if I have time, I'll push it up in a couple. But these 2 will give us a pretty good insight as to answer your question. And I don't need to do what I normally do in the mornings, is go to 4 of them. Because quite simply, when I'm doing this research for me, I got to know as much about this from as many perspectives. And we do know that these artificial intelligence search engines can search through tens, if not hundreds, of different online sources to be able to get the answer to my question. Our question, how can stem cell therapy help regenerating cartilage, rebuilding joints, and other tissues? And let me add to this question related to arthritis or to, well, it's already in the answer. I don't need to add to it. Stem cell therapy, also known as regenerative medicine, holds great promise for regenerating cartilage, rebuilding joints, and repairing other tissues. And it has some references as well. This is from Copilot. Here's how it works. 1. Cartilage regeneration. Cartilage has very limited natural regenerative potential, especially in adults. Stem cells, particularly mesenchymal stem cells, can be used to repair damaged cartilage. These cells can differentiate into cartilage cells, chondrocytes, and produce new cartilage tissue. Researchers have developed techniques like microfracture and recycled cartilage allo implantation, reclaim, to stimulate the growth of new cartilage. And in the second of those 2 therapies, the technique, recycled cartilage auto, meaning it's from the body, or allo, meaning it's from a donor. Implantation, reclaim is the acronym for that strategy. Point 2, joint rebuilding. Stem cell therapy can help rebuild joints by regenerating the damaged tissues within the joint. For example, in the Reclaim procedure, a combination of the patient's own cartilage cells and donor mesenchymal cells injected into the joint, promoting the growth of new healthy tissue. This can help restore joint function and reduce pain. And next they say other tissue regeneration. Stem cells can be used to regenerate various tissues in the body, including skin, bone, and muscle, and that also would include ligaments. For instance, skin tissue regeneration for burn injuries involves using stem cells to promote healing and reduce scarring. Similarly, stem cells can help repair bone fractures, treat ischemic heart tissue, and even regenerate muscle tissue. Overall, stem cell therapy offers a promising approach to treating a wide range of injuries and degenerative conditions by harnessing the body's natural healing processes. That last part of that sentence, by harnessing the body's natural healing processes, is awesome. And I do want to, and there's a reference on that particular one I'm going to share, and that reference is from the Mayo Clinic. Let me open that in a new tab. And I just want to copy that last sentence and push that into what I have been writing. And later, I'll go ahead and put that Mayo reference into this as well, because I like incorporating the sources where I'm getting this information. So boom, shakalaka, boom, boom, boom. Let me insert that I just copied from the AI search. And now that becomes the end of this particular chapter. Overall, stem cell therapy offers a promising approach to treating a wide range of injuries and degenerative conditions by harnessing the body's natural healing processes. Is this the miracle of the fountain of youth that we have long been searching for? That's how I closed the chapter out. Now I added that couple of lines. There'll be a little bit more editing. Great question. Let me see if Brother Ed has any interactive with what he just put on the table. Thank you. Excuse the wording. No need to excuse anything. I write fast and I be writing all over the place. But no, you did a good job, Ed. You're paying attention, brother. You are engaged. You're involved. I hope that you can use this all for your and your family's progress into the future. Stay forever young. Stay forever young, vital, energetic, inquisitive, and skeptical. Skepticism that leads to further investigation and research and confirmation is, in my mind, a very healthy quality that we should incorporate into our lives. And Brother Ed, I think you do that very well for Africa One. I know that you do. You and I have talked. So on that note, I think we've gotten in our 90 minutes for today. Wow, that time sure flies when you're doing investigative research. I want to remind you all real quickly before I go, this protocol begins on December 1. This protocol, holistic stem cell therapy, this is some serious business, people. You're going to get all kind of benefits from this, including these 38 different diseases, disorders we just went through. When we look at the summary of cost ranges mentioned in searching for how much do stem cell therapies cost, the lowest I see on this list is $2,501. I see one $1,300 to $8,500 single treatment depending on the clinical picture. But in actuality, most of them are going to cost $20,000 to over $50,000. The most expensive is Zolgensma, a one-time gene therapy for spinal muscular atrophy, SMA. Costs $2.1 million for a single treatment. Our protocol is a 56-day guided regimen. Here's what it is. It includes 3 course textbooks, and it begins December 1st, just 3 days away. Let me push this up For anyone who's out there listening, I will push it up in the end as well. You can do it in one payment. You can do it in 2 payments. We will work it out because, quite simply, we got to get as many people to actually commit as possible. And in committing, we change our destiny. Let me put these links up for the payments again a second time. Bear with me. One-time payment. Or 2 payments. And the 2 payment is cost you $20 more. That's not a big problem, I trust. 2-time payment. And I'll push this all up. If you look at the commentary for today's broadcast, you will see these links, as well as if you want to have a one-on-one conversation with your brother on this, I'm scheduling a free 15-minute strategy conversation. This Saturday, which is one day before it begins, I'm going to do a preview. I'm going to show you my PowerPoint preview of how the course is going to evolve and develop. I highly encourage you, if you're not already on my mailing list, go to chefkitty.com and sign up for that mailing list as soon as possible. chefkitty.com. Sign up for the mailing list. Some of you are already on the mailing list because you have supported us over the years. And it is because of your support that we can even call ourselves a credible source of information. We are the People's University. And as such, we are here to do great, great, great things for as many people who will allow us into your life. So on that note, I think we got it all in today. Today is going to be a great day. It's going to be a day of gratitude. It's going to be a day where you gather together, many of us gather together with friends and family. I have some friends from out of town coming by to visit me today, not to enjoy a Thanksgiving meal, but we are going to share some living superfood snacks and beautiful conversation, hopefully some joy, some laughter. Whatever you do today, do it with your heart bursting with gratitude. Find a way to be grateful. Be grateful for your children. Be grateful for your family, your grandchildren. Be grateful for your parents. Be grateful for your siblings. As long as people around you do not mistreat you, be grateful for them. If they do mistreat you, look to the ones who don't mistreat you and elevate them. I am, because we are. We are a great people. We are a glorious people. We are truly, truly living in the richness of our past, our present, and our glorious future. You've been tuned into your favorite. We aim to be your favorite. We are LIV Radio, LIV TV. We are living in black.com. Peace and prosperity to each and every one of you.